Okay, this is fine now. So, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll discuss app thing today, right? App and standard object. This is my first section, my first app section, right? So in this section, what we have is how we can create object, tabs, applications, and the relationship between objects, how we can customize the layouts. The layouts, those we can get after clicking on these tabs, right? And how we can create a dependencies between fields. So all these things we'll discuss in this section, right? So what is an application? So an app, we have already discussed, it is just to divide the user interface thing in between different user base. So we have already discussed that we can have different departments of users. And if you want to customize it in a more friendly way, so that if they will log in Salesforce, they will only get the things those are related to their daily work, right? So for every organization, it is a good thing if you will only give the things to users those are necessary for them, right? So you can create different applications. Some are standard application already available, right? So we have discussed there are sales, service, marketing. These are the applications, those are already available. So in sales application, you can see there are a lot of tabs available, and those all are related to the sales architecture, right? Similarly for service and similarly for communities, different applications, right? But you can also create your custom application. So let's say you have an HR department, admin department, anything, right, that you can think of in a company perspective, right? So you can create your own app and you can decide what you want to show to the users. Guys, screen, I think the screen is visible now, right? Yeah. Is it visible now again?
Yes.
Yes, Pratik.
Okay. Okay. So we can create our own custom app and we can decide what we want to show to our customers, right? So how you can do that, right? So we'll discuss how we can create a custom application and how we can share it to our users using profiles, right? So we have already discussed profile. Using a profile, you can decide the app access, right? So
Your screen is off again.
yeah, I'm just sharing it again. I think there was a trip, electricity.
Thank you.
Just give me a moment. Is it visible now? Is it on now?
Yes.
Okay. So you can create your own applications. How you can do that? You can simply go to quick find box and just type app, APP. And after just typing app, you will get a menu to create your own custom app. So there are two types of application. One is console application and one is a normal customer application, right? So what is the difference between a normal application and a custom application? So guys, after typing the app, you will get a lot of different types of app options. Like one is connected app. So if you will go to connected app, you will get, there is no connected app yet, but connected app is used to connect with a third-party application with Salesforce. So it is used to authenticate a third-party application with Salesforce. So we'll not discuss connected app in our admin part. It is not related to admin part. It is completely a code thing. So we'll not discuss this. And the second option is connected app with auth uses. So this is also related to your code thing, right? So we'll also not discuss this thing as well, right? There are certain things that we need to discuss before going deep, how to create a application in Salesforce, what is a standard object and what we can do with the standard objects, right? this is the first topic that we need to discuss. So the first topic is understanding the standard object model. So we have already discussed some part of custom of standard object, what all are the standard objects available, how you can use them, what all are the things that you can customize. So we will discuss it based on different applications. So you can see in sales application you have home, campaign, account, chatter, leads, contact, opportunity. These are the standard objects, those are available. You can also create custom object and add into this sales application if you think that is necessary for your sales items. Similarly, if you will go to service, you will have a different set of standard object, like we have now the chatter, account, contact, case, solution, report, and dashboard. So these are the standard objects. Those are now bucket in a service app. Similarly, if you will go to communities, you will get the things related to communities, right? Contact, account, ideas, report, and dashboard. So we have this standard object model. So you can get all the standard objects. Those are available in Salesforce directly from this customized section, right? So you can simply click on this expand thing, and you will get all the standard objects. Those are available in Salesforce. You will not get a single thing apart from this list, right? So home, activities, campaign, lead, account, these all are standard object available. Some of them you can think of like based on the uses, but some of them are like, will not be aware what is the use of these, but we will discuss most of them in our upcoming sections. So guys, have you checked till now any of the standard object that we have here? Any of the standard object you have used to create records? Anyone?
Hi, I'm Akhil. So yes, I have created. Hi Pratik. So I have created some fields, I would say records in the standard while using the standard objects in a sales part.
Okay. Anyone else?
Created an account under the accounts.
Account record, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys. What I would suggest to you all, just do some practice. What I'm getting is a lack of practice from you all. I have shared a Trailhead account and still waiting for everyone to reply on that, right? And last week we didn't have any class, and you guys had around 15 days to complete that task, and it should be completed in that time frame. Okay, so now these are the standard object, and you can always access the standard object directly from the tabs, directly from customized section, and you can also include these standard object into your newly created application. So how we can create an app? So you can create an app just directly typing app here in this section, and you will get app menu here. Yeah, create app. So you can simply click on this section, apps, and here you will get the name of standard applications you have, and you can click on this new button just to create an application. So you will get two options here, the custom app and the console app. So we'll discuss console app in our service cloud section, but I will give you an overview. What is this? So console app is just for your service team, your support team. So you will get a different type of service application in which you have some service friendly UI, right? In which you can get everything in a single page, like you are opening an account and there are certain objects related to account. So you can simply open all the records in a single screen, right? So you will get that console thing in our service section. So here we are going to discuss this custom app section. So you can simply select this custom app section and hit next. And then it will ask you about the name, right? What will be a name of your application? So you can type any name. So let's say you are creating it, this app for your, any, let's say Salesforce team, right? Salesforce developers. You can simply create it. You can give any name here. So name doesn't matter. It is upon you, like what you want to pass. And if you want to give a short description about like why you are creating this application, and sorry guys, we are just getting some fluctuation of electricity. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, so if you want to give a short description about this application, you can type anything like this is for developers. So you can give it to anyone. So I'm just giving a short description and you can hit next. So we have already set up our profile or everything. So it will also ask for access. So in the step 3, it is asking like if you want to have a different kind of logo here, right? So you can have a different logo for, let's say you have a logo for your department, right? So you can insert an image here, and that particular logo will appear here on this corner, right? When you will select the application, okay? So you can simply click on this insert image section, and it will only get the document from an object called document. So we have let me just show you. So we have an object called document. So you will click on plus sign and you can do Control F. So in this particular object, you can save your image, right? So you can, click on new and from choose file, and you can simply select an image from your, let's say it is, right? So you can select an image here, and that particular image will be saved in document, and you can use that particular image in your custom application. Let me just give the name. It will automatically take the name, but if you want to change it, you can do it. I'm just giving it as test. So you can save any document here in Salesforce in this document section, and you can simply use your image directly here. Check the visibility. Just refresh the screen.
I think the size of the file is big because
Yeah, I think the limit is 20 KB, right?
Yeah, maybe because of that. Smaller than 20 KB, yeah. Just because of this. So this is how you can simply add any image here. So you can try it after this class and you can use it. So it will only browse in document object. So you just need to save it like we did with my image, right? So you can get that image, and that particular image will be visible here, right? I will add after this class in this org. So if you want to check, you can check it. And You can leave it with that only, the Salesforce logo that we have currently if you want. And then the fourth step will be to choose the tabs, right? Whatever object you want to show here. So home is the default we have. And let's say I just want to show the account, and the next one is case. Let's say I just want to show these three tabs here in this particular application, and then you can hit next. So you can choose, all the tabs are visible here. So you can choose one tab and you can shift it here, and that will be visible in the application. I'm just hitting the next again. And now, so it is now asking like for which profile you want to give the access for this particular application. So we have discussed in our last class how you can give the profile access, right? And you know, now you are aware what is a profile. So profile is something that that will work as a checklist for your users, right? So whatever access you will give on profile, that will be available for your users, right? So now you can give the access based on profile. So let's say you only want it to be visible for system administrator. So we have only one user as a system administrator, and there was one custom profile that we have created. I don't know, someone has created some more profile in this org. So this one we have created, right? So if you want to get it visible for this one as well, so you can check it here. But I'm just giving the access so we can compare the access later on. So system administrator will only have the access of this application, and now you can hit save. So we have already, you know, set up everything related to profile. So everything new you will create, it will ask for profile access. Doesn't matter whatever you are creating, right? Any question on this screen? Anyone related to profile access?
Nope.
Okay. So is it clear now to everyone, right? Okay. Let's just hit save now. So after hitting save, your application will be available, right? So you can see Salesforce developer, it is a custom application. That is why this particular checkbox is checked, right? So you have added a small description. This is for developers. You can type anything you want just to describe your application, right? So as soon as you will create this application, the application will be available here in this drop down as well. So let me just quickly check this drop down. You can see here this says for developer application is now available. So if you will choose this application, you can see we have only 3 tabs visible here, right? And this is how you can create an application and customize it, right? You can create as many applications as you want, and you can customize based on your uses, right? Any question till now? Anyone? So this was related to your standard object. You can create your own custom object, right? So, you know, let's say you have a different type of business. Let's say you are running a university, right? And you have colleges, you have students, right? So there can be a lot of different type of object that you need for your own business, right? So you can create your own custom objects. How you can do that? So you can simply go to setup. So everything you will get after clicking on setup only, right? So you will get that option bar, sidebar here only after clicking on this setup option. So I'm just clicking on this setup. And after clicking on this setup, you will get the same screen, right? So now you can, in quick find box, you can type object, or you can go to create and, you know, just navigate till object, right? So here in create, you will find 2 type of options. The one is object and second one is big object, right? So big object are used just to archiving your, you know, old data, right? So these are used to just manage your storage limit that you have in Salesforce. So big objects are not counted against the storage, Salesforce storage limit. So we have already discussed what is a storage limit. So in company profile, you will get a limit of data storage. So every organization generally get a limit of data storage. So you just need to have, your data between that limit. So if that will, go up, then you have to either buy more limit from Salesforce, or you just need to archive your old data. So big objects are very useful to archiving your data. The purpose of the big object is only just to manage or storage things. So these are not for daily use. These are only for to manage your storage limit. Now, the main object option is this one, create an object, right? So you can click on this object, and it will show the entire list of custom object that you have in your organization. We don't have any object till now because it is a new org, right? So everything is standard till now in this particular org. So you can create object directly from here. There is one more option, is schema builder. So we'll discuss schema builder later on. I'm just showing you how you can do it based on the creation screen, right? So after clicking on the new custom object, you will get this kind of a screen, right? So here you will get mainly three options: the label, plural label, and object name. These three are the first three required fields we have, right? So what is the difference between label, plural, label, right? So the label will be the actual object label. So basically, in Salesforce, we have two type of names. One is the actual name that will be visible on front end, and the second name that will be visible in database. So basically, as we have already discussed, every object we have in Salesforce is actually a database table, right? In Salesforce database. So Salesforce generally use Oracle database. So it is every name you have on object is a database table name. So whatever you will pass in label, that will come as an label of the object for front end, and whatever you will pass here in object name, that will go as an the object name for, or you can say the table name in the database, right? And there is one more thing. For custom object, Salesforce will automatically append __c in all the object names, right? So if you will pass student, it will become student __c. So whenever you will call that table in your code, you will always use that API name. That is also called as API name, right? So let's say I'm passing student here, and what is plural name then, right? So plural name is basically will be the tab name that will be visible in this section, right? So you can only access an object directly from the tab, right? So whatever you will pass here in plural label, that will become the tab name here. So I'm just passing it student. Why it is called as plural? Because it is the gateway to access all the data, right? So you can simply pass, and you can also pass any name. It doesn't matter. You have to pass the plural of whatever you are passing in label. So it will not match in that way, right? So in object name, we are just copying whatever we are passing in label, and you will get __c extra in object name, and everything else will remain same. If you want to type any description for your user help, then you can write anything. There is a context sensitive help setting, right? So, after creating this, every user will see a yellow button with a question mark, right? So if a user will click on that question mark, then what will happen next? So you just need to select that thing here. So there is a standard Salesforce help and training window. If you want to just get that open, then you can simply select the first option. And if you want to create your own customized Visualforce page after coding, right? Then, and you want it to be open after clicking on that, then you can select here. But it doesn't have any relevant here. But if you want to give your users help kind of option, then you can just pass it, right? And the next section is related to record name and label and format. So guys, please listen it carefully, right? So every time you create an object, every time, right, you will get one field as an default custom field, right? And that is called as name, right? And it is a default field that you will get every time you will create a custom object, and that will also be a required field. User has to pass a value in that particular field, right? So you can decide from here what type of field that particular field will be, and what will be the name of that field, that you can decide. But if you don't want that particular field, then you can simply make that particular field as auto number. So database will automatically handle this internally, right? We'll discuss this auto number thing as well. Let's just create the first default field and we'll see how it will work. Then there are some optional features that you can give. The first one is allow report. So if you will allow this particular checkbox, then what will happen is user can create reports. So if anyone wants to get some data in reports or in Excel sheet or anything, right? So you just need to create a report for that. And if that can only be happen if you will allow reports from here, right? You can allow now or you can allow later on, right? It's your choice now. Allow activities. So activities is a kind of related list by which you can track all the activities on this object. So you can simply do that if you want. Then track field history. Track field history is basically a topic, but I am just giving you an overview right now. You can track the actual history of a particular field, right? There are around 20 or 40. I'm not clear about the actual count that you can track for an object, right? So you can track who changed this field, what was the old value, what is the new value now, time, date, everything will be recorded, right? So we'll discuss this in our upcoming section. Allow in chatter group. So chatter we have discussed, like it is a kind of social media here in Salesforce. So you can simply allow this particular object to be visible in chatter group. Licensing is a new thing, right? So basically you can simply manage it if you want it to be only be used by a particular user license, right? But it is disabled. It is only available for enterprise edition right now. The next one is object classification. This is for sharing or bulk API access. We'll discuss what is bulk API and streaming API later on in our last part of this course, because these are related to integrations, how you can perform some data changes through a different third-party application and data loader and different type of things, right? And then the next section is deployment status. It is important if you are developing thing into a developer environment, right? So there are two options, in development and deployed. If you will mark it as in development, then this particular object will not be available for users. It will only be available if you mark it as deployed, right? Then the search status, right? So basically this particular checkbox should be checked. If it will check, then you can simply search the things directly from here, the records for this object using a SOSL search, right? And you can also query all the records in this object, right? So this is for search. And then object creation option, right? So this particular option is like, after creating an object, you have to create a tab every time, right? So if you will click this checkbox and you will hit save, then you will automatically redirect it on the tab creation page. You don't have to go again in setup and just type tab, and you just need to click tab again, and then you need to select the object for which you want to create the tab. All these options will be skipped, right? So you will automatically get the option to create a tab for this particular object. Okay, so for this object, we are not checking it. I just want to show you how you can create a tab. And then for next object, we'll go like this, okay? And then there is notes and attachment related list, right? So basically notes and attachment are, these are the two objects that we have in Salesforce. those are related to any object in Salesforce. So you can create notes, you can attach file for any object record. So if you want notes and attachment related to a list to be added automatically with this object, you can simply click on this checkbox and those will be added automatically, right? So any question till now related to this page?
Pratik,
Yeah.
the option deployment status. So in development status, who will be able to see the object? Only the developer who is.
Yes, only the system admin.
Okay.
Right. So, only system admin can access this object and all these things, right? So till the time they will not edit it and save it as deployed, the users will not be able to use it. Anyone else have anything?
What will be the practical usage of this option that we discussed right now?
Yeah, good question. So basically, we work in a different kind of environment. Right now, we are practicing it in a developer org. But if you will work in an organization, there are mainly three type of different org, and those all are connected, right? One is basically the classification is only two types, right? One is sandbox and one is production. So production is the actual environment in which everyone can work, and the actual users can work, right? In which you have all the things live for your users. But your side by side, your developers can develop things to deploy in production, and those are called as sandboxes. So sandboxes, you can have many sandboxes with different type. A type means like they have different set of that data that they can copy from production. So basically, if you are using it in a sandbox and you are still in progress to do things in this particular object, then you can mark it as in development because it is not yet finalized for deployment. And if you will mark it as deployed, then it means that it is ready to mark as or it is ready to transfer to production.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else have anything? I'm just going to click on save now. Okay. Save, and you will get this screen again and just hitting save now. So we have created the custom object, the first custom object, and you can see the singular label means the actual label of this object. Then plural label, when we'll create a tab, this particular name will be visible on tab, and then the object name and the API name of the object, right? So the API name is student__c. As I said, like you will get __c will along with the name, whatever you are passing in object name. And this is the name that you will use every time you will connect with the database, either using a code, a query, whatever it is. Okay. Then you will get the same thing that you have passed, all the options that you have selected at the time of object creation here. And then you will get a section called standard fields. So these are the fields, those are created automatically by Salesforce. And these are created by means like who created this, right? And then last modified by, it is like who will modify it last. So currently it will only take the name of from the created by at the first time, and then it will carry on based on modifications. The owner is basically the owner of, owner of the, guys, the screen is visible?
Yes, Pratik.
Okay, so owner name is basically who created it first time, right? So basically who is the owner of this particular object. And the last one is the standard field that I have discussed that. So basically these three fields are managed by the database internally. So you will not get these fields at the time of record creation, but this particular field is the required field that you will get on page layouts, right? And then you have different options. So we will discuss all these options one by one going forward, right? So now we need to use this student object, and we can only use it by tab directly, right? So we need to create a tab for this object, and we can do it directly, just typing tab here in quick find box. I'm just, and you can simply type tab, and again in the create section, you will get a tabs option, right? So you can simply click on tabs. So there are different type of tab option we have here is custom object tab, web tabs, Visual Force tabs, Lightning component tabs, Lightning page tab, right? So currently we have created a custom object. So we will only create a tab for custom object, right? So let me, and you can read this and it will give you an idea what is a tab, what you can do, all these things, right? So you can simply click on new to create a tab here. And you just need to select the object for which you want to create a tab, right? So here, we have only one object that is student. So you can select, you will only get the object for which we have a pending tab, right? So the student is the only tab, only object pending. So you can select student here and then tab style. Tab style just to, make the look and feel, or there is an icon every time you will get when you will click on tab. So you can simply select this one. So it doesn't matter technically. So you can select anything you want, right? Let's say diamond, right? And then you can type any description, right? So this is a home page link. So we'll discuss this when we'll discuss the home page, right? Currently we don't have any splash page, so we can't simply choose it, but we'll tell you what it is and how we can use it. So next is a description. So description, you can type anything here that you want to pass. Like if you want to give any idea why we have created this tab and what is the use case and everything, right? And then you can hit next. Then it is asking for the profile, right? So in profile, if you can remember, right, we had an option called tab view, right? So we were getting 3 tab hidden, default on, default off, right? Can you guys remember it? So same things you can select if you want this particular tab to be hidden for every object. So you can simply click tab hidden, and for a specific profile, you can make it visible. So let's say I only want administrator to view it. So you can make administrator to default on. For every other profile, it will be a mark as hidden. Okay. Any question for this screen? Anyone?
No. So if I understand this correctly, the object that we created by the name of student, that particular object right now is only visible. I'm sorry, the tab is only visible to the system admin and nobody else, no other
Right.
user.
Right. So all the users, those are tied with system administrator profile, can only use this particular, can only see that tab, right? And these 3 options are available: default on, default off, and tab hidden. So basically, default on is like that particular tab will be visible on this bar, right? And if you will make it as default off, then the tab will not be visible here, but after clicking on this plus sign, that particular tab will be available. But if you will mark it as an hidden, then it will not be available anywhere, right? It will be hidden. So we just mark it default on for system admin. So if you will log in with another user, you will not be able to see this tab, right? I'm just hitting next now. Then it will ask for the application. So now again, so you can just relate it like this. So we have this custom app section. So now you can decide in which particular app you want to give the access for this tab, right? So let's say I just only want to give the access to this Salesforce developer app. Then this particular tab will only be visible in the Salesforce developer app, nowhere else, right? So I'm just unselecting everything, and this Salesforce developer app I can check, right? So this is how you can, decide in which application. Let's say this particular standard object is only related to this particular set of users who can access the Salesforce developers. Then you can only mark it visible for Salesforce developer application. I'm just hitting save now. So we have one custom tab now, and you can see it is automatically visible, and the name is students, right? The plural label we have passed, right? It didn't ask the name again. It only automatically picked it up from the object name. So this particular, object is available. You can access it by just clicking on this tab. There is no data here, so data will not be available. All right, it is all blank. You can create the new student. So after clicking on the new student, there is only one field, and it is a default field. You have to create a more field, or you can use some standard. You have to create more field here to create the entire form based on your uses. So right now we don't have any another custom field. So there is only one field available, and it was the default field. So you can see the red sign. It means that this particular field is required. So user has to give the value before clicking on save, right? So if you will click on save without giving the value, then it will give you error that you must enter a value here. Okay. So this is our custom object. You can also create your custom fields here. So let's say I want to create a field called, let's just make it more relevant. So let's say on this form, I'm just saving the information related to a student, right? So to save the address of a student, I need a country, state, or city kind of pick list values. So let's say I have a business in 4 or 5 different countries, right? So I can give the option for all the 5 countries, and user can come here and they can select the student country directly from the pick list. And similarly for state, the state will only come based on the country that is already selected, and similarly the city. So that kind of structure you can create directly here. So how you can create a field first, right? So custom field you can create in a standard object as well. So please remember that. So if you want to create a custom field in account, you can also do that for your standard object. But right now let's just do it for a custom object. The way is same. And so you can create in the same way. So now the option is same. You can go to setup and then object and then field. There is one more shortcut is here. Can you see it? In the right side, if you will expand it, you will get view field option directly, right? So you can click directly from here and you will get on the field creation screen directly. But let me just show you the lengthy way so that you can relate it, but you can also go it from here. Clear, everyone? So
yeah,
let's just do it with setup. So you can simply go to setup. And again, so in the recent item as well, so you can open your custom object directly from here, and it will also give redirect you there. But let me just show you the option directly. So we just need to go in objects again. And here you have all the custom object list that you have in your organization. So I'm just clicking on this student object. And after clicking on this student object, there is a section called custom field and relationship, right? So by just clicking on this new button, you can create your own custom fields. So let me just click on this new button. So after clicking on this new button, you will get this screen, right? And first time it will be slightly confusing, but if you will see it carefully, let me explain you how you can manage it. So the first 2 sections, right? You can simply, or even 3, right? The non-selected and this order number and formula, roll-up summary, lookup relationship, master detail relationship, check, external lookup relationship. Skip till now, right? Till this line. These have these particular types has different topics, right? So we'll discuss them. So we have now checkbox currency. So what all are these, right? These are the type of value that you will enter in a particular field. So you can simply customize a field based on the value, or you can say like you have to decide what type of value you need to enter in that particular field, right, before creating it. Is it clear to everyone?
Yeah.
First of all, is it make sense to everyone? You have to
Yes.
decide what type of value you need to enter, right? So for developers, it will come in a different way, but we Salesforce generally think that who all are using Salesforce, they are known IT guys, right? So they have given names more familiar. So let's say it is a checkbox, currency. So currency is kind of a decimal number, right? And then date and date with time, and email. Email is nothing, just a string field with some validation of email, a valid email. So let's say if you are entering something wrong in an email ID, then it will automatically validate based on @ or .com thing, right? So, but it is basically a tax thing only, right? Then geolocation, then it will give you it will automatically include the latitude and longitude, components, and then number, and then percent. Number is basically your integer thing, the number thing. Percent, basically it will get the percentage sign automatically in the value. Phone is nothing, a string, but it will give you a look and feel like if you have iPhone, then you can think of like if you will save any number in that, then it will give you a structure in a kind of US format with some brackets, right? So it will do the same thing with your number, but it is similar like we have in number, but it is a text field, right? So if you will use it in a code, then you have to consider it as in text. Then the pick list is just a drop down, right? So we'll use pick list field only for our country, state, and city thing. And then we have pick list multi-select, right? You can select more than one value at one time, like we did with that, permission set thing, or, for drag and drop one value from one side to another side. So that kind of stuff you will get here. Then you will have text area long, text area rich, text encrypted. So these all are related to text. You can read the string here, and these are different based on size, right? Except this encrypted one. So you can use, if you are creating any password kind of thing, then you can use a text encrypted here, right? And then time is only for time, and then URL. So if you are saving any kind of URL, then it will automatically give a hyperlink in that URL. So these are the type of field that you can create in Salesforce as a custom field. We are any question till now? Anyone?
Not from my side.
Okay. Okay, then just select this pick list. So we will just go through all the types we have in this section, and you can ask anything you feel confusing in tomorrow class, right? So I'm just selecting pick list now. We'll select more going forward. So let's just select pick list and just hitting next, right? So again, it is asking for the name. So you can give a name, right? So now for values, right? So you have to pass the values statically because you have to give what all are the values you want to show in a country pick list, right? So there are two ways to create it. So let's say country is a very common pick list. So you can create your pick list value set, right? And you can use that value set directly. We don't have any value set currently. So that option you will get directly from here. See, pick list value set. So you can create a pick list value set like this. Let's say India, Australia. Let's just save it. And this particular value set, you can use it every time you want to create any country pick list on any object, right? So it's a kind of dynamic thing. But if you don't want to use that value set, let me just will it come to here. Oh, I need to refresh the space. So you can see here that global pick list value set is coming here. So if you will use it, it will automatically pick all the values directly from that value set. But if you want to create your own, right, then you can simply click on the second value and you can create like this. So every next line is a new value, right? So it will consider if you are just hitting enter and coming into next line, then it will take it as a single value. Okay. So
just a quick thing. If we had the option of adding values like India, Pakistan, Australia over here only, why did we need to create another object or a new field? I'm sorry.
No. See, so you are asking like if we have already created a value set, right?
Yeah.
And using into, so country is a very common thing, right? So you can have a country pick list in multiple objects, but we can have some unique kind of pick list, and for those we don't need any kind of global pick list value set, right? So
Right.
you can directly go and enter all the values, all the related values here, right?
Yes.
And for common thing like let's say if I have a country pick list in an object, and why I should again type all the values and create a new. So I can
Right.
use the existing global pick list value set, and even it will help in that way as well. So if you have one more country in need to add in your country pick list, so if you will not use the global pick list value set, then you have to go one by one and need to add in all the country pick list in all the object. But if you have used that global pick list value set, then you just need to add it in the global pick list value set, and it will available in all the country pick list in all the objects.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
So yeah, problem. So let's just use it. So now you have option to display it alphabetically, or it's up to you. Your first value as a default value, and field name. What will be the field name? So I just want it as in country only. If you want to give description, have text, you can give. And required, it means like every time student entry will be entered, then the user has to pass the value for country pick list, right? So I'm just making it required. And then if you want to make it a custom report type we'll discuss in our report class, right? So we'll have a report class separately. So we'll discuss what is a report type. Just mark it as unchecked, or it is up to you. There is no significance for this right now. Then default value. So if you want any kind of default value and create it based on some calculation, you can pass it. So we have a separate topic for formula field. So you will get to know about formula field better in upcoming classes. So you can use this particular option as well going forward. Now let's just hit next. Any question on this screen?
Can we?
Yeah.
I have a question. So while creating pick list field, so do we have an option of having separate stored value and display value?
Separate stored
Like
stored.
like the field values visible while creating are different, and that stored in the database are different, like some option like that.
Didn't understand your question actually.
Like
so you are saying
like for country, we want to create a pick list field having India, which was displayed while a user is creating a record in student field, and but we want that in backend database IND is stored in place of India.
That you can do. Then that you can do using a formula field, and you can also have some other thing at the time of like triggers, workflows, process builders, flows you can use in the background, right?
Okay. So, but we don't have any option in this
No, here you cannot manage that. Right?
Okay.
Let's just click on next. So you can manage that as well, but what you need to do is, after creating, you have to manage two things: the label and the value, right? So we'll show you how you can do that. Okay.
So Pratik, will happen in case, I mean, is this a smart search within country, or this will be a simple search?
No, you're asking about the question that Ankit has asked, right?
Yeah, no. So I'm saying smart searches, let's say there are, let's take an example, okay? Let's say one is country, India, and then there's a string, long string, right? Let's say India 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second is India 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fourth is India 7, 8, 9. Something like this, right? Now, if this is a smart search, or I mean, why I'm asking is because in our office, what we have seen is sometimes when we are giving, I mean, within the value list that we prepare or a pick list that we prepare, the first couple of characters are same, and then the actual description or actual differentiation comes in the last of the string.
That is up to you, right? It is a string only, right? So whatever you will enter in the value thing, that will be stored in database, and whatever you want to show to your users, that will come as a label. So I will show you just after this. Okay.
No, I'm saying when the user is searching it, let's say when a user is searching it, then be easy for him. Or
okay, it is easy, right? So user will so in reports, user will search in report only, right? So they will get the label only. So whatever will be saved in database, that will be for developers. But for users, for front end, the label will only work, and it is easy.
Okay.
Let me. So now it is asking for field level security, it is a student object, and then country pick list, and then if you want to make it visible for some profile, and for some profile you don't want to get it visible, so you can simply manage it based here, right? We have already discussed what is field level security, so you can relate it to. I'm just hitting next. Then it is asking for layout. So we were getting a page after clicking on student and new, right? So if you want this particular field to be automatically added in that layout, you just need to make it checked and then hit save. So we have created a new field now, that is country, and the question was asked by Ankit, right? So you can simply, Ankit, you can simply click on this country field, right?
Okay.
And you can have two things here, the API name and the value, right? So whatever you want to save in database, you can have it in API name, and whatever you want to in the country pick list for users, and then you can simply mark it here as an label.
So I can change API name for India to IND in this field.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
You can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Pratik, can you explain it again? The value of the pick list.
So basically there are two things. For pick list, we generally have two things: the label and the value, right? The label that will that will visible in every time you will select the pick list, right? But there is a value behind that particular label, and that can be different. So basically you can mark that value as IND or IN or whatever it is, right? So, and let's say in values you want Pakistan, and in API name you want PAK only. So that kind of thing you can manage directly.
Okay, it's all about the abbreviation where we want to store, according to which we want to store, right?
Right. Okay. So now let me just click on a student again, and if you will hit new, then you can see here there is a drop down available, and in that drop down all the values are coming, right? And we marked it as required, and that is why we are getting it as required directly in this screen. Okay, so you can create more field like this. Let me just create one more field called state, right? This time I'm directly going from this option, view fields. And again, you just need to click on new and just hit pick list. Oh man, electricity is playing with us now. Just give me one more minute. Actually, I'm using two screens. So every time, and the external one is connected with directly with the, the electricity.
It's okay, Pradeep, we understand.
Yeah. Okay. So pick list screen is visible, right?
Yes, visible.
Okay. Okay, so pick list again, and next. This time I won't select that thing, the global pick list value set. This time we'll create our own, right? Own value set. So we have different. So what I will do is I will create some state names here. Say for India, I'm just creating UP, MP, and let's for Pakistan. I don't know about the states of Pakistan. Just type in Lahore. What was the third country? Just passing
Australia.
one, US 2, and then there was the third one, US, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just select one only. And yeah, next. I'm not making it as required. Now it is asking for field level security again. Excuse me. So field level security you can manage. So if you want to make it visible for every profile, then you can simply click on this checkbox, or you can customize it based on your requirement. And hit next. And then again, if you want to add it on student layout, then you can simply leave it as checked and then hit save. And we have, let's just refresh this screen. We have one more field here as state, and it will also visible here. So it is not marked as red because it is a non-required field. So it is your choice if you want to select it or you want to leave it null, right? So you can see here all the states are coming, whatever we have mentioned at the time of field creation. So let's say if you want to create a student name here, then you can select Pak, but state name is not changing based on the country you have selected. So we don't have much country and state combination right now. So it is not much complex right now, but when you will have the entire state and country combination in these pick lists, so it will be very hard to select from all the states at a single time. So there should be a dependency between these two fields, like we generally have in all the forms in other softwares as well, right? So if I will select Pak, then it should only show the state related to the country we have selected, right? So there is no dependency right now. So we have another topic is called field dependency. So we can create a dependency between two pick lists, right? How you can do that? So for that, you need to again go to the same screen, the object screen, and there is one more button called field dependency here, right? So you just need to click on this field dependencies and just hit new. Now it is asking for the controlling field and dependent field, right? So what will be the controlling field? It will be country, and what will be the dependent? It will be state, right? And then you can simply hit continue. Now, so all the controlling fields are coming as an header now, and the dependent field is coming as an dependent values are coming as in rows, right? So what you need to do is you just need to press control from your keyboard and just select UPMP for India, Lahore Islamabad for Pak, AUS1, AUS2 for Australia, and Nevada for US. So you just need to press control and select all these values, okay? And just hit this button, include values. Any question till now?
No.
No.
Okay. Just hit include values. So these values will be logged. That's it. Just hit save. Right. So this field dependency is now created. So if you will go back and refresh this page, then you will state is now disabled, right? You cannot select state individually. First you have to select country, then only state will be visible and based on a country filter. So if I will select Pak, then it will only show those two values. Those are related to Pakistan. And then if I will make it India, then UPMP, similarly USA, and it will only show the one value. Similarly for Australia, it will only show the two value. Whatever you will be logged as a dependency, it will only show those values. Any question on this one till now?
Yeah, Pratik, not on this one, but I mean, how do you go back to the main screen? I mean, that admin screen. One is the setup. Because here we don't, I mean, in this software, I'm not able to find the breadcrumbs. So which you know where or by which level you are.
You mean the left screen here?
Yes, so some kind of a breadcrumb, right? So we know.
You just need to click on setup.
Okay.
Okay. I think I told it many times. You just need to click on setup. After just clicking on setup, you will get this left panel. This one you are talking about, right?
So I'm saying maybe I'm confused. I mean, where were we? So I know about setup. I know how this will appear, but when on the screen testing it, then I mean, in the normal software, we get a breadcrumb, right? That you are at this level, third level, fourth level. We can't see it.
Oh, it won't show you the level thing. So you just need to understand the entire software, right? Nothing is like, I don't think there is anything complex in this. You just need to relate it with the business kind of software, right? So, you have, and we have discussed every part, right? So this is the application and what all are these options. These are tabs and these are the admin things, right? So these all are the sections, right? So if you don't know where you can find a particular option, you can simply type here in Quick Find box, right? So that's the only thing that we have discussed till now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it clear? Right? If you have any confusion, we can discuss after the class for 5 to 10 minutes, and you can ask me. If there is any confusion, it should be clear.
No, I understand this. I was just looking for a breadcrumb, right? We are in the habit of doing that.
Okay. Maybe just because of that. Okay. So, any question related to field dependency? No? Okay. So guys, we have another big topic is called object relationship, right? And it is really an important topic and a big topic. So I'm just talking on a high level. What is object relationship? We'll discuss it tomorrow. So entire class, I think, will be consumed by this object relationship. So what is an object relationship? Those are who all are related to a dev background, or if they have worked related to database, then there was a concept of foreign key or primary key options, right? But here the concept is same in the background, but you don't have to be aware about all those things. it is pretty simple, right? So let's say I have two objects, right? So let's just talk about something in standard object. I'm just selecting a sales application here. So now we have account, opportunity, and contact, these three objects, right? And as we have already discussed, what is an account? Account is a database of the companies that those are connected as a customer with you, right? And what is in a contact? Contact is basically a database of all the pupils those are representing their companies. Okay, and then opportunities. Opportunity is basically a deal database on which you are working. So all these three objects are connected because you cannot find which person is connected to which company. So you have to, connect a particular person with the company. So company information is in account table and the person information is in contact table. So account should be as a reference in the contact object, right? Account is a parent of contact. So similarly, opportunity should have both these objects related, right? So we just need to connect a different object so that we can use one object value as a reference for multiple values in its child object. So there is a parent-child relationship, and parent will be used as a reference in a multiple record in a child object. It is a one-to-many relationship, basically, kind of. So you can use, let's say, a country or state, right? So let's just assume like we have a country object here, and then we have a state object. So, and in a state, you have all the state from entire world, and in country object, you have all the countries, right? But if you need to just manage, if you just need to identify a state and from directly from the state object, like for which country it belongs, then you need to have a connection between state and country, right? So that kind of relationship will create. One country can have multiple states, so country will be the parent here and state will be the child. So basically we have 5 different type of object relationship in Salesforce. So we'll discuss all these 5 relationships. I'm just naming them. So the first one is the lookup relationship, and the second one is master detail relationship, and the third one is many-to-many relationship. Fourth one is self relationship, and fifth one is hierarchical relationship. So these are the 5 different type of relationship we have in Salesforce. We'll discuss all these relationship theoretically and practically in our tomorrow class. Guys, please complete the trailhead section. If you can do, it will only take your half an hour, not more than that. So just spare your half an hour and just complete that trailhead thing, and share your credentials with me. I can check it. If you have any question, or if you are stuck somewhere, then please ask me. I can reply on that. But please do, because if you will not practice, you will not understand anything that I can guarantee.
Just a quick thing. I mean, I was just